Hi everybody, to the viewers that at least have. I just did a recording and for some reason it didn't save. And I'm gonna try to do this as quickly as possible. Now I might still pop in from time to time to do videos, but I basically decided to call it quits on all my research for personal reasons and financial reasons. Uh, Too much against me. And I need to realize I'm putting way too much effort for very few gains, and I needed to realize there's just too many evil people in the world that won't let me be a success. And the more I find out about my story from GTF2 or whatever, the more it's just heartbreaking. Uh, I'm not saying I won't talk to them anymore, but I'm gonna take a step back from all of this and just call it quits because I all I can see is I'm burning midnight oil. I'm working 24/7. I've been working 24/7 for about a year with no success. And no matter what's spreading on the TV, no matter what's spreading on the internet, no matter what people talk to each other about, they should realize what's going on. Is he even gonna actually end up successful? And at the end of the day, people should wake up and realize, this is a big joke. This is literally a big joke because you would have already done it, if you keep talking about it. So, at the end of the day, I tried really hard to do something special, and I'm proud of myself for what all the hard work I put in and the discoveries I made. And even though I'm not a success, it's not even my fault. I put the effort at least towards something that mattered. If other people don't want me to be a success overall, it's out of my hands. And at the end of the day, I put so much effort and not even a dollar or not even a little scratch at success. Not even, they keep telling me this or that, but at the end of the day, I got no success out of all the effort I put in over the last year, and I wasted all my time, is what I realized. And I'm happy that I'm realizing it because at least I won't be putting any more effort or scratching at something that's just not attainable. But with that being said, I'd like to keep doing some videos from time to time. I'll find some content, I guess. I don't know what. I honestly don't know what. Just in case there's some viewers who would like whatever I have to put out, I guess. Uh, and overall, it was a good learning experience. I learned a lot of stuff in science, and even though it was not a success, I still kept busy, I guess. You know, uh, but I can't keep going on like this, working nonstop and trying and trying and trying. And it's just, I realize, even GTF2 are just bullshitting me at this point. And with all due respect, I appreciate that they were kind enough to do this phone and talk to me. And I'm not saying this to be mean or anything, but I'm realizing somewhere along the lines, if something would have happened, I wouldn't be in the situation I am. I realize there's many problems in the world, and it's not all on GTF2 or myself or anybody. There's some stuff that happens in the world that is outside of people's control, but there's also a lot of stuff that can be fixed, and people just don't want to fix it. You know, they want people in general want things a certain way. And it's like this. All women tell me I should move on and I should find another girlfriend or should have harems or should do this or do that and forget about my wife. But when really is one gonna actually stand up and do something about it and do something special for me? Because at the end of the day, they put literally no effort towards me. It's just an example. I'm not gonna point a finger at anybody in specific, but it's like a girl will tell me you should move on, and yet if I try to move on, she still wouldn't want me. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. Like, girls would tell me you should move on and get another girlfriend, another wife, or this or that. They still wouldn't care about me. That's just the thing, right? It's just an example. It's okay, people will. I don't know what to say, but I did a lot of hard work, and maybe one day, someone will pick up my work if they end up bumping into it, and maybe try something, and maybe one day, at least for science and medicine, maybe one day someone would actually believe and put the effort in, even if I don't get nothing for it. If not, well, it doesn't change much. Uh, because overall, all my life, I worked really hard, and I don't want to sound like I'm complaining, but what is your excuse to some people, after all I've been through, nightmares I've been through, and all the efforts I've been through, it's like, how can people, you know, do certain things like that, to hurt people and abuse people like I was abused, and how can so many sorry but lazy and evil people be so much financially able to do what they want, and even if they're bankrupt, how can they screw the system over to just keep making more money, and that's the thing, right? I footnoted, apparently, and I can't even fund my own work or my own inventions because everybody is bankrupt, and I had to buy everybody out, fund everybody to get them out of bankruptcy, to get people working, to put food on your plates, and I can't even spend $1 on myself. Tell you the truth. GTF, you can tell me all they want. I know the truth. It's just bullshit. No matter what I see online or no matter what is shown on the TV, no matter what people talk in town, I would have been a better success by now, to tell you the truth. And I would have some moderate scientific breakthrough, and I would have some form of progress. And all I can see is basically, if ultimately, if I have some sort of stock market value of some sort for real, all I'm seeing is I'm just paying everybody and I'm getting nothing, and these people all treated me like a slave at some point, in my life. No matter where I worked, I always was the slave of the job or the environment of the workplace, and you know what I mean. And I end up having to bail everybody out and fund everybody, and I keep trying to make projects happen. I keep trying to make good ideas happen. I keep trying to make something happen, period. And it's like, well, nothing is even happening. So I'm concerned is, all I know is basically, as far as I'm concerned, is I was just rock bottom failure, no matter what, all my life. It's not because I was not worthy, it's just because people put me there. Not everybody, not everybody. I know some good people out there, but in general speaking, in just general, it is what it is. And I'm not the only one going through something like this. You know, I'm not the only one who's poor. I'm not the only one who's heartbroken, or I'm not the only one who's going through some hardships. So to anybody who's somewhat in my shoes, I feel sorry, and don't give up, right? But uh, deep down, all I know is I'm just way better off at stopping whatever I'm doing and try to relax and try to come up with something else deep down that would be more worth my time. Maybe spend more time with Tiger for one reason. Honestly, I know she's a little not antisocial, but she likes to sleep in her corner and she rarely likes to get pets. And but I should make a little more effort to be there for my cat instead of putting so much effort into inventions and work and projects that are ultimately just never gonna happen. You know what I mean? I'd rather put the effort where it should be put in, and my family's always gonna be there in spirit. You know, ultimately, I did realize that, you know, at the end of the day, if people don't want me to carbon print my family just because they're jealous that, you know, and if the gay mafia, for one, wants to kill women and children just because I care about them, you know, that's one thing. I know that there's no justice at this point for me or these people, you know, uh, because it is what it is. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, you know. You know, if a man can't be happy with a woman and have children just because he's handsome or is royal blood, then there's a huge problem in the world. It's not even about royalty. It's just about cruelty that people in general have. That is a big problem in the world. And honestly, I would have to kill a lot of people just to fix the problem. And is that even worth it? Because at the end of the day, look at you. You know, I'm gonna be a little better off knowing I did try, and it's time I step back. And everybody around should be happy that I am quitting, I guess. Because, you know, I heard some neighbors literally screaming aloud, laughing. Hey, he finally gave up. You know, he's finally free. He's finally this and that. It's like, and what will you do more? You know, you're downstairs screaming at me, hacking me and watching me what I'm doing. And you're screaming of joy that I give up. You know, but what would you do to even get me? You know what I mean? This is just an example. You know, you say what you want, but deep down, would you even care or even put an effort to be with a guy like me? Uh, much less be a decent human being and not hack someone's device. You know how many hackers out there? You know, just hacking my phone, and it is what it is. You know, I have no privacy anymore. I never had privacy. You know, I had gay child molesters after me all my life on the dark web and the criminal underground, and I was never safe no matter where I was. You know, it's the gay mafia. It is what it is. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, and don't like it. Well, sucks to be you. I don't care. I'm not homophobic, and I won't trash talk all the gays. But there's a mafia that calls itself the gay mafia, apparently on the criminal underground, and that's how they operate and do stuff like this. So, if you're gay, don't think I hate you. Don't think I'm homophobic. I don't judge you all. I'm just saying facts. Facts are facts. Now, if you want to celebrate my losses, that's up to you. Go ahead. Honestly, go ahead. Laugh. Cover me, ridicule all you want. Say what you gotta say. Doesn't change anything. You're still shady person that would never do anything right in his life or her life. And at the end of the day, I'm walking as a better person. Because above all else, you know, I only try to heal people. I only try to do the right thing and look at what you're doing. You know, and sad part about it is, you know, to tell you the truth, I would have been a success if people would be moderately more kind, I guess, overall. And just look at how the system is shady. It's normal. I would never have a chance, no matter what. And who would actually believe, anyways, right? But y'all see it on TV. Y'all see it watch on the stock market. Y'all talk about yourself, blah 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 blah. But you don't even realize that at the end of the day, this is just a big joke.